What's up, YouTube? Mr. Captain Falcon here for another deck profile. This time it's a deck profile on my Evilswarms. This deck's not legal yet, but it will be legal in from now about 3 weeks, 2 weeks. And the deck's really not that fun to play per se, but it does destroy a lot of the meta. It has a good matchup against relatively every deck, except I'd probably say the biggest decks are Fire Fist and Inzectors. I learned that the deck doesn't have a very bad matchup against anything else because of Ophion. And even against like decks like windups, the deck still does relatively well because it plays the trap cards and just like protection spells to keep Ophion alive, and then windups can't like Volcanosaurus it, so it's pretty good. So, onto the deck profile. To Rescue Rabbit, I like him a lot. The reason why you play 2 is you need to get into your Ophion as fast as possible. You only play 3 normals, but Rabbit alone, you just need to get Ophion out and then you're pretty much golden. So 3's good. You also play Avarice, so 2 Reaper. I don't have a second Reaper. I can't find it. But this is my other Reaper, Evilswarm Obliviwisp. He does basically the same thing as Reaper, except he negates card effects when they battle with it. And it's 2050, so it's pretty good. You play Reapers just to stall and to knock out cards out of their hand. Because with Ophion, they tend to go in the defensive a lot, so Reaper gets a lot of pluses. Evilswarm monsters. 2 Mandragora. Mandragora is a Cyber Dragon, except they just need more monsters than you. He gets into your Ophion faster. He also gets into your like Ouroboros and Shockmaster, so he's pretty good. He's also another Evilswarm. Also, a little weird thing about all these Evilswarms, they all have increments of 50. So he's 1550 and 1450. And they're all like evil things of something else. Like he's a Naturia thing. I don't remember what it was, but then to Salamandra. He's 1850, so he's also pretty high beat sticks. His effect is that you can banish 2 monsters in your grave up to 2 once per turn or twice per turn. You can banish a monster, and he gains 300 attack. He's at 1850, so that means he goes up to 2450. And for now, he's pretty good. We don't have the Curion, or yeah, whatever his English name is right now, but we don't have him yet. The extra normal summon dude. So once we get to him, he'll probably come out. But for now, 2 Salamandra. The 3 Evilswarm Thunderbird. Thunderbird's really good. He's 1950 most of the time because of his banish effect. And if you've seen my Chain Beat deck profile, you know what he does. 3 Caster. He's one of the main cards of the deck. Caster lets for another normal summon the turn he's summoned. So he gets the reason why Caster is really cool, other than being 1750 and making Ophion. He gets around Valor and Fiendish Chain. His is just like a summoning condition, so if once you summon him, as long as they don't negate it, you get the extra normal no matter what you do. And then the three vanillas, Evilswarm Heliotrope. He's 1950, so he gets it with Thunder King. But the reason why I'm opting to play only 3 and not Sabersaurus, Sabersaurus gets really cloggy in the deck. You don't really need it. Cool. It's cool because you can make Salamandra plays, but it's not really needed. To make Dolkalogia. So 3 Heliotropes good enough. And then 1 Gores. This is just for backup. Because he could be another trap, but he don't like drawing into traps without monsters. But Gores is... No, sorry about the hand. But Gores is basically here just to protect against, if they kill Ophion and they try to OTK. And he's another Dark for, this dude. Dark Armed. Dark Armed. Some people don't like Dark Armed in the deck because of Ophion. But the reason... my reasoning behind Dark Armed is that you hold it till they kill the Ophion. And then you drop the Dark Arm, because that's 3 Darks for 1 Dark, 2 Dark, and then Ophion itself. So, Dark Arm's really good, and he gets your, after you drop Dark Arm, activate its pop effect, then summon Rabbit, and just go into Ophion again. The spells, I believe that's about 19 monsters, I believe. And the spells, 1 Allure, because you play all Darks except Rabbit. Reinforcement in an Army. You play this to search out your caster, because he's, like, a really key card. Pot of Avarice, because you go out of your, what's it called? Your, not materials or resources really quickly. And then if you have a dead rabbit after the Heliotrope, Pot of Avarice makes it so it's live again. Dark Hole, Staple, Reborn Staple, Heavy Storm Staple, and Double MST. All staple. Let's see, next card. Double Duality. Also staple. Some people like to not play this, but I like it because it's not like you always have a first turn Ophion, and then if you just summon a Thunderbird and go into Duality, it's a really strong play. If you don't open the Ophion, so Duality's good. Double Infestation Pandemic. This is what makes the deck really broken. This protects your Ophion and it's searchable by Ophion. It's a face up. It's a quick effect like Lance, and it makes so all face up Evilswarms are unaffected by spells and traps. So this makes all your Evilswarms unaffected. So that's really good. And then the last two spells is a tech card I'm playing. It's Forbidden Dress. Forbidden Dress is really good to protect your Ophion because after you dress Ophion, it's 1950, so it stays pretty high. Dress is also good against for protection for that Ophion because unlike the with Pandemic, this makes it so it's unaffected by a lot. But if you Pandemic, Zen mains can still run it over. What's it called? What else? The other thing, I mainly played Dress for the Mermail matchup because although you have a really strong Mermail matchup, one infantry can ruin your day. So if they go like Abyss Pike and then pitch an infantry, just chain Forbidden Dress to the infantry effect, and he won't be destroyed. And that way, the Ophion's still 1950, and they can't run it over. Traps, one Compulse, one Deep Prison. I might play two of these Deep Prisons, but reasoning behind Deep Prison and Compulse, you mainly lose after you get the Ophion to his endmains that just try to crash into Ophion, so these are two good protection spells. Solemn Warning, again, it's kind of annoying to deal with monsters that you don't want to deal with, like the Pike. And one huge revolution's over. This is actually a relatively new edition. I was playing Starlight Road over this, but most of the time when I had Starlight Road, I already had the Ophion, so I didn't even get the Stardust. So, Huge Revolution's over because it just stops more cards than Solemn Warning, really, or not Solemn Warning, Starlight Road. And I was like, oh, Starlight Road, it's not going to get Solemn Warning. I lost my round 1 the other day because he Solemn Warning my road, and I was really sad. And then I lost, so that was kind of a shame. And then, let's see, 4 more traps. Double Torrential, with this Quick Play spell card, your monsters don't care. Torrential's board clear when they try to do something, and then with your Infestation Pandemic, you can clear fields. And double Bottomless Trap Hole, again, you lose the cards that just are really annoying. This will one Bottomless is probably going to switch in for one Defissure or Deep Prison, but Bottomless is really good. Just gets rid of monsters that you don't want Ophion to deal with. That's the main deck. The only thing I'd probably change about the main deck is maybe add an XYZ Reborn, but I don't have one, so. And on to the extra deck. Let's see. Token. Stardust is in here because I was playing Road, but you don't need him anymore. On to the realist main deck. One Evilswarm Ballhelmet. He's your main dude. Other guys you go into if you don't want to Ophion. But Ballhelmet's 1-turn mind control, so he's really powerful. You can pitch an Evilswarm and take control of a monster. So that's pretty funny to do. The other one-ofs. Thantos, he's basically turned into an untargetable, or no, he's unaffected by card effects? Yeah, by other monster effects, so he lets you crash into Zen mains and not care. He's pretty good. One Evilswarm Ouroboros. This is your level 3, generic. Or rank 4, 3 level 4s. He's like Trishula. He is a Trishula, but yeah, but what's it called? He has 3 effects. You can either you can bounce a card, you can banish a card in their hand or graveyard, or you can banish a card in their graveyard, or you can send the card in their hand to the graveyard. So Ouroboros just gets around a lot of things like Zen mains and stuff. He's pretty good. He's 2750. He's really strong too. And then the boss monster, Triple Ophion. You don't really need 3. You really only make 2, but Ophion's effect is you can't search summon level 5s. Or neither you or your opponent can search summon level 5s. And then you can detach one as long as it has materials. And you can detach one to search for a Evilswarm spell or trap. So he's really strong. He's 2550, so not a lot of things can run him over. Like even with a lance, the only other thing that can like run this over is a lance and like rabbit, and that's it. And even if they go attack, you can just go be like, cool, I'm gonna activate the pandemic spell or trap card. So Ophion's really strong, and it ruins Mermails because they can't go reveal Megalo. More monsters. Mainly level 4 staples. Maestroke, because Maestroke's good. Cowboy. Pushing for a game with Rabbit, but generic level 4. Generic level 4 Utopia. Generic level 4 Utopia Ray. Papilloperative. Dweller. And then Shockmaster. The only thing, I think that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12. So there's still 3 more spaces in the extra deck. I'd add probably the, what's it called? Just more generic level rank 4, so probably Black Triple Corn. I don't have one anymore. Got rid of mine. And then maybe like a Catastrophe for a Reborn Veiler. But that's about it. Side deck. This is really just tailored to my needs, but no Prohibition. Decks that like to side in a lot of cards against you, like cool Prohibition something. Funny thing is, if you just go like Prohibition like Pike against Mermails, and they literally have 0 outs. Double Soul Taker, pretty much just bait out things like Pulsar Shining. Those decks aren't really much of a threat to you, but Soul Taker helps. Or Soul Taker Zenmans, because you don't like that. MST, backer decks, it's MST. One Fairy One. Fairy One's a pretty funny card. It helps against your really shitty matchup against Fire Fists. If you don't know what this does, it destroys all face-up spells and traps, and then both players take 300 for each. So you're like, cool, pop. And then you can't do anything. Double Mind Crush. Really solid card this format. It's at 3, but 2 is good enough still. Hit cards out of your opponent's hand. Really nice. Double Goes in match. You play all darks, it doesn't matter. And it's good against windups and stuff. Let's see. Get to that card later. Double Soul Drain. This and macro is what I mainly side most of the time. But Soul Drain's really good against decks that are just like, cool, you need a graveyard. Cool, Mermail. Cool, change Soul Drain. You lose. So Soul Drain's really good. And then lastly, Double Macro. And 1 return from the different dimension. Let me explain Macrocosmos. The deck, you don't get hurt by this at all. What I sat off when I sat in the macros and Soul Drains, I sat on my Gores, Avarice, Darkharn, cards of that nature, Salamandra. Cards that just need graveyard. You don't get hurt by this at all. You can main deck it, but you just lose the turn 1 Avarice and Gores, or the game 1 Avarice Gores. So Macro's really good. And then 1 return. I'm just testing this out. So far it's been doing okay. Late game, when you have the macro out and they kill Ophions, you can return them back, and it's pretty funny. You can just push for game. So, that's a deck profile. Comment, rate, subscribe. Evilswarms are pretty fun. They're illegal, I believe, April 1 week before the Butler Regionals, like April 22nd, around that date, 19th. But the deck's really fun. Only change I make is, like I said, the XYZ Reborn, and the deck just is really good. Until Mermails have to revert back to the Gen X build, I think Evilswarms have a really good chance of this meta. And Suppressor Dragons. That deck's dumb. But, comment, rate, subscribe, and peace out, YouTube.